though there's usually a theme tune song, so this is where we usually got to go. Hi, well, welcome back to very special Get Your Deck Out. It is live. We are here recording outside of a normal kind of window that we do because most importantly, banned and restriction, as you can see if you are one of the video listeners on the screen, and we're going to be going straight into it, talking through it. Obviously, as usual, Scott is with me. Scott, it's time to figure out if the format, specifically the standard format, is saved or not. What's the first initial reactions?
There seems to be. As I've said, even on stream before we started recording this episode, and multiple times, anyone who thinks they can predict the format from here is wrong. You can't. We're going to need to just wait and see where it lands. So we'll start with the standard bans. That's the most important thing, is Vivi is gone. Prof's Eidetic Memory is gone. And Screaming Nemesis is gone. Now, we'll talk about Vivi during the course of the episode, obviously, where obviously it's just won the most recent Spotlight series in Liverpool. There was rather a lot of it as well. And people have talked about whether they ban Cauldron or whether they ban Vivi, if they ban Profts, all of this stuff. And you proved it as well, because you've played on stream and on Arena a deck that didn't have Vivi or Soul Cauldron in it, but had Profts in it, and you were still absolutely smashing people.
Yeah, absolutely crushing. It's gives so much value to drawing cards, and there's already should be value to drawing cards. But to have counter value to drawing cards was just too good. Ironic.
You're rewarding the people doing the worst things. You're rewarding the people that are just playing every card that cantrips. Winter Night Stories is powerful enough without it putting 3/1/1 counters on something, which then translates to normally 5 mana.
Yeah. It's just silly.
It just didn't need it. It just did not need it.
And also just silly things with like Prof's Eidetic Memory, is that being a legendary enchantment, you sort of had a pseudo cycle of it, which means then you also got like an enchantment to the graveyard, which paid off your Delirium, which paid off your Fear of Missing Out, and like it was sort of the one that everyone wasn't thinking about. But as we were getting closer to the bans, I think there was even people who were saying as long as you took Profts alongside one of the other pieces, I didn't really care which way you went.
We just wanted them to always take Profts and then take Vivi or Soul Cauldron, preferably Vivi. So
my tinfoil hat is gone. My tinfoil hat is gone as well, because they've taken a UB card within a year of it being printed. So
that should hopefully be proof for everyone that they are willing to maintain the health of their game. If that means banning UB.
Yeah, and I think, all said and done, this is fine. There's a weird window now of standard play. In fact, you literally head into a new RC season that starts 2 weeks before Christmas. Most LGSs don't do anything for 3 weeks over Christmas. So we'll see a format kind of like regrow itself. It'll probably be a very interesting 10 days where this will be standard, the standard that's currently standard, but without mono red, or is it Cauldron? We've had in the chat earlier, we had Demir players right now off Sarge. I think you're going to do well if you play some challenges for the next week, but very, very quickly things will change.
Because everyone's going to be ready for it, and there are plenty of things in the format that Demir just can't beat. And If Demir ever plays against 4-color control and doesn't draw multiple duresses, how do they win the game?
That is true. 4-color control, specifically as Jeskai control. Those of you who watched our Unity League coverage on the weekends. That's gonna be great. That deck was never really bad, just had sort of like a risky matchup into some decks. Now it's gonna be like really good for a while. Feeding really strong. Something just to shout out the article, I've just noticed it as well. If you hover over, it's the marquee holiday special edition version of Vivi that they've put here in the card finder. A little bit ironic that this will never really be a costly card now, even though that was supposed to be the chase of the set. But
the Entomb that is banned in Legacy as well is also an Avatar version. But so the thing I want to call out, but before we get into the down and dirty and the grimy with some of these standard implications, the thing I want to shout out is the next announcement date.
Okay, that's further down, right?
No, right at the top, mate. February 9th. That's soon.
Okay, so they're going back to 2 weeks after the 2 weeks after release.
Well, so in the blurb about standard, I think this is Carmen has written this. Jadine, sure. So shouting out basically that they're increasing the number of update windows, which we said needs to happen. Like that absolutely needed to happen, where having 4 windows is great when you've only got 4 sets coming out, but if you got 6 or even 7 sets coming out, then you kind of need more windows to try and fix stuff. But
you do.
They've got an interesting little... They've done their usual, where they talk about what the deck was, why it was a problem, all of that sort of thing. They've got a tab in Standard called Learnings in the Future. They talk about failings of the format, and they actually use that terminology of failings of the format. We took a risk making a card that insulated mono red against life gain and blocking at the same time. There is honesty in these words, which I actually really appreciate, where they are turning around and going, we've messed up. We caught this up. We went too far. Here's our intention, but we messed up. And they talk about profts. It's a strong engine card where the ever-increasing density of strong interactions available in the format got away from us. That is a very polite way of saying, we designed and tested Profts, Eidetic Memory, and Murders at Carl of Mana Standard, a format where most of its powerful synergies didn't exist. We noticed the lack of options made Steam Core Scholar in the same set to be a great card alongside it. Blah, 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 blah. So they gave it its attention that it required when they were designing it.
Yeah.
It might show up here and there, but it was unlikely to be among the strongest decks in the metagame. That I don't believe, because they cannot help themselves with printing 2-mana cards that say draw a card on them. However, hopefully they've learned, maybe don't reward with a build-around card, like Profts, like Up the Beanstalk, and this is where the similarity is. You're rewarding people for doing something that they already want to do.
Yeah.
In Up the Beanstalk's case, it was cheat on mana. In Profts' case, it's draw extra cards. So whether that's just playing a Fear of Missing Out or playing Winter Night Stories, which is already a really powerful card, you're just rewarding people for doing the same thing. It's like if you had a 1-mana enchantment that was whenever you counter a spell or draw a card, you're rewarding the wrong things. I love playing Control. I think they should make better counter spells in Standard than they currently do. I think it would help alleviate some of these problems. Mana Leak in Standard would be absolutely fine, in my opinion.
I think you're right.
Remand, something like that. If we've got into the Floodmaw, we can have fucking Remand. But if you have an enchantment that says whenever you counter a spell, draw a card, you're incentivizing people to do nothing but sit there and draw cards and counter spells. With profts, it's you're incentivizing people to do nothing but sit there and draw more cards, which is already part of the problem with Magic's game engine, and why you need cards like Screaming Nemesis to try and slam the door shut before card advantage and resource advantage can really get away from you.
Yeah, like
that's why it's a problem.
It's fair enough to sort of like call out that Profs wasn't bad at the time. There's a little bit about that, which is Profs was never going to be good, as in you were never going to create good play patterns by putting that in. As an overall timeline of now where it's now been banned, though, I think we could be a bit more kind to. It's now the right time to ban it. It was probably comfortably in the format until this Vivi deck appears, and also with the further iterations we've seen from Edge of Eternities. This is about the right time where you now ban a card because it's problematic for a format. It'll go into a Pioneer deck now. It'd even go into Phoenix and just be okay, like it has been. And happy that that's there. Happy to see we've even done some curation on the format. Maybe it is on life support. We just don't know. But the important thing was always going to be coming out the other side of the Vivi Auditar deck nuke was. There's always been a real fear that a Jeskai Oculus was always just going to pop straight back up and take the spot.
Yeah.
Not
now.
No, not in the same. Definitely not in the same speed. Probably as well because you're not going to be able to make that. You're not going to be able to reanimate that Oculus or give it a one counter to make it 6 so that it doesn't get pinged down by some of the higher cost removal.
How many of those effects do we have in standard? Because I know there's the one from Karloff Manor that puts a flying counter on a thing.
Sure, we just have that and the 1 mana one that brings it back tapped.
Oh, there's the Helping Hand was in DMU or Brothers War, I want to say.
Did it rotate?
I think Helping Hand has rotated. There's the black one that costs less if it targets a cheap creature.
That went. That was Brothers War.
Oh, Helping Hand is LCI. I do apologize. So Helping Hand is still legal, but we've also in Avatar you've got the blue Waterbend 5, like 4/5 flyer, and it's like ETB Scry 2. It's another good thing to Helping Hand. So
yeah,
don't know, maybe, but again,
it's a possible deck, isn't it?
Great. We actually have ideas that we can take and things that we can think about where we can look at it and go, oh, maybe this thing's actually playable, instead of when we looked at Spider-Man and we went, all of these cards are pointless because they're not Vivi.
Yeah, and you know what as well? Like, this will bring on to sort of how the format will evolve and how like the format has been adapting. We've seen the rise of the Spider-Man deck, the Reanimator. Well, that doesn't really go anywhere, but alongside the potential that Oculus becomes a card, both of them are slowed down significantly to graveyard hate, and that's the only main adjustment that we'd like to see, I guess, to sort of put us back in a good spot. Screaming Nemesis going. I think this is one of those ones. Shout out Liam Tiller Collins, who's had a great result in Spotlight Series. Came and played with us in a rather interesting get-up once, but that's for the internet to go find. They did well. The deck's good. The deck's probably still playable, but also maybe just an adjustment here to Tersa, maybe Tersa and some slightly different spells, or do we have to really nuke this build?
It's fine. Like, it's still going to be good, and in a way, the reason why Nemesis was so good was it was a persistent threat, and it was kind of a burn card, because Vivi was so good against black-based decks, where right now that's mostly like Pixie with nowhere to run type stuff, and that's one of the best cards against Screaming Nemesis. Vivi was so inordinately good against those decks, so they just fell out of the meta. Now the answer suite that you can actually have for Mono Red is a lot wider. I very much doubt we're going to be seeing Witchstalk Frenzy in as many decks as well. So maybe it just becomes more of a pure burn deck. And
Slick shots come back. Maybe we've got
Maybe
prowess creatures in Avatar.
I think if you go back to Slick Shot, you just play Leyline. Shout out Alex McIsaac. That is a good deck.
There's a shout out to it here as well that we know that's good, but we think it's targetable. So
it is targetable though. Yeah. That's the thing, and Alex even admitted that he played that because that's what he's been playing and that's what he's been refining, and he just so happened to have a good run on the day. He didn't think it was the best deck in the format. He didn't think it was better than Vivi.
He thought it was the right deck to play, didn't he, to win the whole thing?
It did some things. It did some things differently, and we had a really great convergence of a really good player on a deck they're really familiar with, and it was a good weekend for the deck. And I don't care how good he is. If you're playing Leyline, you had to get a little bit lucky, but then everyone has to get a little bit lucky to win a tournament. That's kind of the way it works. Screaming Nemesis was one of the cards that removed variance as well, where it was rare that it did nothing. And that's part of how you fight mono red, right? Is sometimes if they play a Razorkin Noodlehead and you shock it, then you've gone 1 for 1, the card didn't do anything, you've got another turn. That's how you combat these decks, and you can't do that against Screaming Nemesis because you shock it or a Lightning Strike it or whatever, and then they're like, cool, bolt you. So Lava Spike is worth a card. They've essentially 2 for 1'd you because they've reduced your life total. That's the goal of it.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about them just leaving it as mono red basically, but maybe you end up with more of a Sunspine Lynx type deck or
a mice package, you know, like I think that's also playable.
You go bigger or smaller, right? Where it's not going to say the same, where it's kind of an aggro deck, but it's also kind of big red. You're basically going to have to go completely towards big red or way more towards aggro and burn. And I think if you go more towards aggro and burn, you probably have to play Boros Charm, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's more interesting. But
Before we move away from any sort of like standard views, obviously they didn't take Cauldron, which is something which by the time we sort of analysed this and talked about this more privately, I think we were more actually comfortable with, as long as they've done, pulled the trigger on the other two. Noted in the article, they're essentially saying that they missed this. They missed this interaction is sort of the call out, is ultimately they failed to find the interaction with Agatha Soul Cauldron. I kind of like that sort of humility as well. That like they have started to do that a little bit more recently, and again, hopefully this helps them clean in on it. Are they right to leave Cauldron? We got Cauldron for another year, so based on what we see, nothing else seems scary.
Yeah, that it's the kind of card where printing the wrong thing can just break it in half, right? Where would Up the Beanstalk have been such a problem if Leyline Binding didn't exist? Probably not, right? It would have been okay, but I don't think it would have been insane. With Vivian Soul Cauldron, it is a weird interaction, and loads of people have talked about like, oh, it should have been a tap ability on it. Like, I know that's the change they made in Alchemy to Vivi, is they made it a tap ability. That neuters it, but it doesn't remove that interaction, and it stops. I suppose it stops the bursty nature of it as well, but it still might have honestly been too good along with Profts as well. But these things happen, and it's part of the cost of them making standard 3 years. I don't think... How long ago did they announce that? I think we're probably just around getting into the time now where they're actually...
They expected this, I think, at
where
this point.
Were designing with 3 years in mind. We're probably only really getting to that time now.
Yeah.
Where for the last year, it's been kind of just band-aid fixes to the format to try and get it to this point where they think this is going to be better long-term.
Sure.
What I want to see from them now is just consistency, where
come
the next announcement, whether it's good or bad, address everything. Talk about everything. Don't just say, no changes, there's no text on the article, everything's fine. Even if you don't change anything, talk about it.
Yeah. Talk about what's made waves, talk about what's scary, and talk about anything that needs to sort of be on the radar. We'll come to maybe some things that chat thing. Obviously, we're live today on our Twitches and YouTube. Obviously, over on Twitch, it's still just me, Oldie or Dave, and over on YouTube, you can always find the get your deck out where you'll find the stream at the same time. Yeah, let us know in the stat. If anybody also in the comments want to think about anything on standard that you think is missed. We'd love to sort of give you our 2 pence on that. What we basically think so far, and if we're gonna have to grade this particular standard banding, Scott, good old fashioned when we were back in school grades, not the like crazy number grades it is now, like A through U. How have the team done here on delivery, card choices, and philosophy with this particular banding in standard?
It's difficult, right? Because you're clouded by the fact that we got to this point, and also that they've made us wait for so long for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if they'd done this, 6 weeks ago, it would have been an A. And they would have just turned around and gone, yep, this is bullshit, get rid of it. This is boring, it sucks. We just want standard to be fun. Then that would have been an A. With how long we've had to wait, I think that it feels like the bare minimum to have a functional format. So to me, it's like C plus B minus. But then it could have been so much worse, right? But
if they can now be a consistent student and at least deliver us B's and A's with regular format adjustments,
yeah,
we'll be in a much happier spot. Talking about formats,
it's a B, but it's a low B, but it's the kind of one where the teacher writes on your paper, like, continue this improvement.
Yeah. Well, talking about like format adjustments, one format I just didn't think they'd bother adjusting is Pioneer, because it just seems dead.
It's for the arena players, isn't it? Let's be real.
Well, Heartfire Hero's gone. I think it's obviously fair to say, well, Lucas just wins games with Mono Red. I can see the deck, but the deck, probably even I would take that to an online showcase challenge and do positive records. It's really well tuned. It's all super powerful. Surprise, surprise, a Screaming Nemesis is in here too, and so here's a deck. You take Heartfire Hero out of this, you just put Monastery Swift Spear in, and this deck still has a positive win rate. So I don't feel sad about this.
Yeah, it's a good ban, right?
Yeah.
You just want to bring it down. You don't want to kill it. You don't want to just shoot the deck in the head, because like they shouldn't do that to decks full stop as much as they can, where you shouldn't just take a deck around the back of the bike sheds and execute it unless it's a huge problem.
We said
normally that's for like tournament logistics reasons, so you're talking like Yorion, KCI, eggs, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, we said also on the pre-show, the funnier thing about Pioneer would just be, hey, here's the RCQ season, the format is unbanned.
I'm still not going to play it, but I hope the arena play. I know it's really popular on arena, and yes. I hope all the arena players have more fun now, that especially with how the arena ladder works and how it really incentivizes playing an aggro deck, because you want to get your wins done as quickly as possible, and the more wins, the better it goes. So you want to play faster decks. I hope people have a slightly better time with it now that Heartfire Hero's not there, but I won't be playing it.
Fair. The one that would have completely shocked me, and I would have been, oh my god, that's a game changer, would have been if we saw anything written on the next section, which is modern, no changes. I think that is a general consensus that everything is fine, carry on as we are, keep bringing us new cards now and again, let's keep innovating, please don't give us Modern Horizon sets. Okay, Titan is still there, but Titan's always been there, format around it. Like, any other thing I should be thinking about, Scott, here with Modern, or are we just in a nice spot?
It depends, right? It depends how you feel about it, and I think
Chat's getting spicy, Scott. You need to die on a hill.
Titan needs to go. Who up getting executed behind the bike sheds? All right, Cabsy, love you. Anything about modern? No, it's just that. It's just Kings Row Ghost saying Titan needs to go. So this entire section of modern basically says nothing, where they're just like, look, it's good. However, hidden in the middle of it, just below the Amulet Titan list from Collins Mullen, who is a very good player. If you don't know who they are, find some of their matches and watch them. They are wonderful at the game. Amulet Titan is a deck with a storied history in the format, remaining in Tier 1 through metagames that included several cards on the ban list today. I feel like they have just tickled the edge of the copy pasta.
I think they have, haven't they? They have.
Just a little is remain Tier 1 through metagames that included KZ, blah, blah, blah. That's a nice call out.
It's
Recent
so close.
adaptations to the deck have made it infinitely more bullshit. Yeah, we know. This sort of combo isn't inherently problematic, but we're becoming increasingly aware of some tournament logistical issues that can arise with the deck as complicated as Amulet Titan when its win rate necessitates widespread adoption in a format. Given the deck's legacy and Modern's ability to absorb most forms of combo decks over time, we aren't interested in making changes to the format at this time, but we will be watching the impact that Amulet Titan has in the coming months. If the deck continues to disproportionately impact round times at competitive events, we may begin exploring actions to take.
Okay,
now,
so what we got from that...
That's really interesting.
...is we have an acknowledgement we have a Yorion problem.
Yeah, it's a Yorion problem. It's an eggs problem. They're saying if you purely look at data, play rate, win rate, that sort of thing, Amulet Titan is not problematic. When Yorion was banned, Omnath didn't have a problematic win rate. It's because people were playing with 80 card decks. You could play 1,000,001 cards that said draw a card on them.
Yeah.
And you just churn through your deck. And if you've never played an Omnath mirror with Yorion, where we had to adopt Elishnorn, Mother of Machines, and 13 mana Emrakul just to have a chance of finishing a game, it was awful. I am a very, very fast player, normally to my own detriment. I had an Omnath mirror where game 1 was 44 minutes.
Yikes.
And my opponent, shout out to them, this was at an Axion Mega Modern. We had a judge nearby us for a lot of the game. We were both playing quickly. They were playing at a reasonable pace as well. So I like that they've called that out, and it's not even that Amulet Titan is too good or it wins too much. It's just that it's kind of just bullshit. And even when you're playing Modern, you sign up for a deeper complexity. It's not the same as Standard. There's a high density of combo in the format, but you sign up for that by playing an older format. Same way you sign up for Legacy, you're expecting Force of Will, you're expecting Brainstorm, that sort of thing, where these effects would just be completely untenable in a lot of other places, but that's part of the format's identity and part of why it looks the way it does. And people dislike change generally, which is why a lot of people dislike the Horizon sets. With Amulet Titan, it's not that it wins a problematic amount. It's not that it's played too much. It's that whenever you're playing against it, you kind of just sit in there like, I should have brought a colouring book. Like it's just dull.
Yeah.
And like we've done it now. We get the joke. Oh, but I can loop with a million different things, and but you killed my Amulet Titan, so I can still Besage you and Otawara all your stuff. Like it's just it's the same thing as Nardu, but less powerful.
Yeah.
At this point, it just feels like a Nardu deck, to be honest with you, where they will infinite loop over and over and over again, and they're like, oh yeah, but I can Besage you all your stuff. And you kind of sit in there like, I don't understand how this works really, but I'm just going to take your word for it. I just know that if my opponent untaps with 5 lands and an amulet and they cast Scapeshift, I'm dead. I don't know why fully. And I do agree with King's Road Ghost, where I loved when I went to time after my opponent took a 25-minute turn to lose to a subtlety. It's just horseshit, and it's the same thing as Nardu. It's the same thing as Eggs. It's the same thing as KCI, where it's just like, yeah, we've had our fun. Get rid of this shit. It's boring now. Go back to casting Primeval Titan with Amulet without an infinite loop, like we used to, like was absolutely fine for fucking years. We don't need infinite loops. We don't need this crap. Have something that we can actually interact with in a meaningful way that doesn't take 48 years to resolve, where I'm sitting there thinking, what's my opponent going to do? What line are they taking? And then they sit down and start doing quadrilateral equations on their notepad to try and figure out if they've got enough mana to go off.
Yeah, I think they should just they should just bring it down a notch, isn't it? Like I sort of see that so many times that like some of the bigger issues just sitting there as, oh, you have so many like ways to win and lines to win. They're like, from a format perspective, it's just boring. So I would say this is a warning shot. This is a warning shot to if the ERCs are gonna be all Titan and they're gonna continue to get dominated by Titan at some point. And again, although we stick the Pioneer copium up there, the one thing I would say is we are going to certainly have an RCQ season of Modern like that. That can't not be the case, and I think then we'll get it at test.
Yeah, I think that's also a huge part of the reason why they didn't make any changes, right? Where we are in the middle of a Modern RC season, and just let people play what is a good format. Don't take any risks. I'd like to see some unbans next year when we're in the midst of standard RCQ season, but I feel like they're going to keep them pocketed for if standard goes bad again.
Yeah.
And I talked to you about this a little bit, where when they had to blow standard in half, they unbanned a bunch of cards in Modern, and people like all of a sudden didn't care that standard had sucked for a while.
Yeah. Well,
it's the same thing, right? Where I think they're going to keep the Euros and the GTAs and the Punishing Fires, all the cards that are like kind of risky but could come off depending on how it goes, and I'd want to test them all extensively, obviously. But
yeah, we got
them pocketed for when the other formats are crap.
Yeah, we have that window, don't we? Where like, yeah, if you did that now and you made Modern crap, like everyone's going and playing another game made by Riot, right? Exactly, and I told you I wouldn't mention it on today's episode, but that is a reference that's properly correct.
That's all right. I mentioned Riftbound earlier as well. So.
We'll move into Legacy. We've obviously in the chat. We will get through all the formats. We will come to Pauper and talk their unban of a temp ban, or reban of a temp ban. But in Legacy, we've seen a banning for Entombed and we've seen a banning for Nardu. I actually don't think we've probably got too much to say here other than
rest in piss, you pigeon bastard.
About fucking time, yeah. There's not too much here.
I've played like 2 Legacy FNMs in the last 6 months, and both of them I played against Nardu in round 1, and in fact, one of them I played Nardu, and at one point I had me and 2 experienced Legacy players on either side of me, and I'd already conceded at this point, and I just had like half my deck laid out on the table, and they're like, oh, you could have killed them this turn, and I'm like, cool, explain how.
Yeah. It's
and
nuts.
They're like, oh, but you sack this with Sylvan Safety, and then you loop it, and I just don't care anymore. I'm just playing this like BAM mid range. I don't care.
Yeah, so fair time. Obviously, they do appreciate that we're heading into Eternal weekends. Either side, there's enough time, I'm sure, for an adjustment for EU Eternal weekend, which is what 3 weekends away. So. Tamio could have potentially gone is another thing people have sort of effectively looked at. I think this will just do for now and let Legacy cook.
I'm surprised they didn't touch Oops, where a lot of commentators about the format where to be honest with you, most of my Legacy interaction comes from two of our local players who are the golden oldies, talking about Legacy in the Discord and watching Brian Koval's YouTube channel. Bosch and Roll, another one. Go subscribe to it. Very good. Oops just seems to be that similar thing to Titan and Modern, where it's like we've played this enough. It's just kind of bullshit. Get rid of it. They say in the case of Oops or Spells, its metagame share has dropped dramatically, and the deck struggled a good deal at this year's North American Eternal Weekend Legacy Championship. Cool, probably fine then, but in terms of taking Entomb, yeah, they've talked about how they've banned around it for a while. It's not a decision that they take lightly. Basically, they tried everything they could to not do this and then realized, nah, this is just too good. It's been good. A part of the game for yonks and yonks and yonks, and it is just too good.
And what they need to do, which they've done, which I've brought along to this year, is the Timeless Hero, which is their conversion of people from Timeless to Legacy. The Teamer Sneak and Show deck is back on tier 1, baby.
I doubt it'll be tier 1.
But essentially alluding to broken stuff can still be done, but you just may not be able to do it from the graveyard. I just don't want to speak about this bird anymore. I'm pretty done. They can fly off into the sunset. A format that is...
I love that they last minute changed a card for Commander, and it's banned in fucking Commander and Legacy and Modern.
Quickly touch Vintage. Apparently, it's really, really good to play. It's something I'd love to maybe take a little bit of a sidetrack into one day for a video. Just like not only the high power Vintage, but the 30 power Vintage.
Maybe not in paper for full Vintage, but
yeah. But that we'll just say no changes. Fair enough, because apparently it's cool. But the big call out, obviously, Gavin is kind of come and waited along with his words here and said, obviously, High Tide is rebanned. A bit of a discussion about it, and there's a longer article about it, which we'll just sort of take the top level. I feel personally, although I like seen in the chat already, people have said, "Oh, this is fine," or "Yeah, that was shit." I think this is, again, a bit of a Yorion problem. It's like, do you really want to play against this kind of gameplay in paper? Is it a good Magic the Gathering experience? Overall, no, it's not. Is it needed to keep a metagame balance? No, it's not. A fair enough ban. Let's move on from it.
Yeah, I've not played a lot of Pauper either. It's another one of the formats that I have occasionally dabbled in, and one that I feel like in the new year, when I feel like I've been saying this for the last pissing 3 months on the podcast, but when I have got a house purchased and I am moved and that is all sorted and my life is back on a even keel, Pauper's one of those things that I really want to start diving into. And
so if you'd like to see Scott play more Pauper, what he's saying, use your Twitch Prime on us right now if you are in the live chat.
Yeah, definitely do that, because you'll help pay for my lounge to be renovated in my new house. But yeah, I played High Tide a little bit. I've played against it. It's that same thing. It's just boring. It's just, oh, yay. I get to sit here and watch you just diddle yourself for 25 minutes. And then we figure out if I'm dead or not. And playing online seems better. At least you can just F6 and go make yourself a cup of tea and wander off, have a cigarette, walk the dog, go to school for the entire day and come home. And then your opponent will be like halfway through the combo. I like the ethos of, we tried it. It didn't work. We've rebanned it. I actually really enjoy that, and I wish they do that more often. Maybe don't unban Golgari Grave Troll again in Modern. That's probably had too many runs, but trial unbans.
Because Prophetic Prism's fine, and actually, it's just given a bit more depth to artifact strategies, but also not broken anything. So, you know, well done. What a shocker! A well curated format has given something a go to keep the players interested. Listen to player feedback. And despite it not necessarily tinkering with the numbers, have also tinkered with the play patterns and gone, let's get rid of it again. Lots still to be taken from this. That maybe a lot of the decisions that are being made here should, as a wider call in, should be made by panels as well as potentially just game designers. But hey,
Yeah.
that's another separate story. In these announcements, we always get the token. Here's the things we're doing with Alchemy, Historic, and Timeless.
I don't care.
We don't really care. Timeless is actually okay too, and then Brawl is some kind of commander crap. So if you want to see all that, you can go find the article yourself.
Isn't Brawl just like standard commander, but they include all the bonus sheet cards as well?
Yeah, as long as it's been printed on Arena, so therefore it also.
So we had Strip Mine, Mana Drain, Chromox, and Ancient.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But
Oh my god.
at this point, it would be, hey, let's make some articles about what decks to play instead. But what a strange world that we literally have Arena early access tomorrow. We personally have Magic Online early access Thursday, Friday. So I'm going to be booting up the stream on Thursday to just try shit with whoever wants to play. So keep an eye out for the channels for that. And then, yeah, like I say, we do have a little bit of a... There's worlds, there's an RC happening, so I think there's just going to be a lot of brewing, a lot of sort of interestingly trying things for fun. It's a Wild West, as Fabi's saying in the chat. You know, there's just the game's been shaken up, and like, cool. Let's go play Magic the Gathering and enjoy ourselves. That's cool. Let's just do it. Yeah, we'll be just looking to be playing and brewing and sharing stuff on here on the pod over the next couple of weeks with you. And obviously come join us. We'll try and do this a little bit more, especially like as we all get settled, because I think we do. This is always a nice chat to boot up with people who know what's going on with the game. Do you want to drop any more insight, Scott, with these bands where you think with what we think is going to happen, or where you want to see things taken, or do you just want to end this podcast and go and play some Magic the Gathering?
To be honest, I want to end this and go and eat some food and think more than anything, because I'm actually excited to think about the game again. I know.
Yeah.
We did the episode with JMF where we talked about being a thinker of the game, not just a player. This kind of thing is what makes me think about playing the game instead of going to weeklies every week and not changing my deck and just not really caring and just being a little bit disconnected.
Yeah. It means that we can enjoy it, we can brew with it, we can have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I think from ourselves, that's what we've been looking forward to when this band came. Just to give you all some spoilers, yes, we will have some interesting guests over the next couple of weeks, but also alongside those episodes, the interesting guests, we want to play some interesting decks across the Magic Online account and everything like that to be able to truly get our decks out into this new meta and this new format. So that wraps it up for the final of the Vivi meta. This has been an interesting period in time, one that I'm surely going to just put to bed and never bring up again. I promise. And we're going to go forward, open some Avatar this weekend, and bring you some new decks to get out when you go to your locals from next week. Bye for now, everyone. See you on the next one.
Can we do some stuff with Electro Assaulting Battery and Firebending?
I think so. That's how. Can we do stuff with Firebending? We certainly can. I think we can.
Well, Electro Assaulting Battery is like red mana doesn't leave your pool, right?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be like busted, personally. But
I don't know about busted. It's a 3 mana 2/3 for fuck's sake. Like it's not like gonna be insane, is it? Let's be real.
No, but it's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna have some fun times. I think So thanks everybody who's been hanging out in the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat, and this is been our little our thoughts on the bands. We're getting this up now because we got we're recording with some special guests this week. So this will be up as like as an actual podcast episode potentially later tonight. Gonna get a bonus episode that I filmed up in the Spotlight series on Thursday. We got stickers still. If you see us about, don't forget stickers. And then
put them in my bag, shouldn't I? Just in case.
And of course, if you are in the South Wales or the Bristol area, or you want to come play Modern on a Thursday, you will always see us there.
We are running that like as much as we can over Christmas as well. Basically, the modern scene in Cardiff is one that I've worked quite hard to cultivate, and obviously all thanks go to the players for being consistent and turning up. And we've got a really good diversity. We've got a really good player level as well. It's really, really high level Magic.
Yeah.
And they're feral for the game. So
more Magic, more cards, more play. Obviously, as well, we have got a lot of people going to the RC. So hey, if me and Scott find ourselves free, maybe we'll cover some of that. Make day 2, guys, and we'll boot it up. For now, though, thank you very much for listening, watching, being around. Is anybody live who's worth going to send you lot to, so you can go get your decks out with? I should really make that an email on the channel, shouldn't I? I'll do that after this.
Piss off and get your deck out.
Piss off and get your deck out. Thank you very much, everyone. All the best. See you soon. Stay in touch. Blah, blah, blah. Go into the Discord, which will be in the link for this description, where you can find us. Bye-bye. Bye-bye for now.